Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, but since its premiere the landscape of Star Wars has drastically changed. The years between 1983 and 1999 are known by fans as the dark times, the age when Star Wars was completely absent from the big screen. The release of The Phantom Menace heralded a new age for the franchise, changing everything. The Phantom Menace introduced a new part of the Star Wars timeline, one viewers long believed they would never see. It was groundbreaking, stepping away from the Rebellion and the Galactic Civil War, and blending iconic settings with new environments. The Phantom Menace was Star Wars' big comeback, and it's fascinating to look at how the fandom has evolved since its release. The Phantom Menace transformed Star Wars into a generational saga. Each generation has their own series of Star Wars films. The Phantom Menace transformed Star Wars into a true generational saga. This is because George Lucas continued to make his movies for children, understanding these younger viewers were his target audience. Ironically, this is one major reason the Star Wars prequel trilogy initially proved so controversial. While the origin trilogy was made for the children of the 1970s and 1980s, the prequels were made for children growing up in the 1990s and early 2000s. They were more than mere nostalgia bait. This explains why the hate for the Star Wars prequels has stopped. Lucas' target audience has come of age, and these viewers have made their opinions known. Disney has since followed the same kind of format with the sequels, although the House of Mouse did play the nostalgia card more than Lucas. Still, the general tradition remains: Star Wars is continually reinventing itself for the next generation, unlike many other franchises. Star Wars does not have to rely on the fans of the original trilogy to keep going. Instead, the fandom is always expanding. The Phantom Menace reinforced the primacy of movies. The interest in Star Wars films has remained. The dark times had not been completely without new content, of course. In fact, Star Wars went through a resurgence after 1991, with Timothy Zahn's Thrawn trilogy and the Dark Empire comics effectively relaunching the expanded universe. Still, The Phantom Menace drew interest on a different scale, with theaters jam-packed with die-hard and casual fans alike. Future tie-ins would build on the prequels, but Star Wars novels and comics were expected to orient themselves around the latest movies and characters. This trend has continued since the release of The Phantom Menace, with other mediums always secondary. Even though TV shows based in the Star Wars galaxy like The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Star Wars: The Bad Batch are massively popular, there's still a lot of interest in Star Wars at the box office. With it being 5 years since a Star Wars film was released, the calls for new films are growing. Though there have been 4 new Star Wars films announced, it's still not entirely clear when viewers can get back to the theaters to see a brand new Star Wars film, and when the franchise will return to its rightful place on the big screen. The Star Wars fandom proved bitterly, and often unreasonably, divisive. This problematic pattern has unfortunately continued. Rian Johnson and a scene from The Last Jedi, where Rey, Daisy Ridley, and Kylo Ren, Adam Driver, fight the elite Praetorian Guard. The Phantom Menace initially received harsh criticism, with claims that George Lucas had ruined the franchise. There was extreme bullying of actors in the movies. Jake Lloyd, who played the young Anakin Skywalker, left acting, although it must be noted his mother insists Star Wars was not responsible for his mental health problems. Other actors, such as Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks, and even Hayden Christensen largely stayed out of the limelight. Both actors would find redemption in Star Wars, although it's a shame it took nearly 20 years to happen. This trend has unfortunately persisted. After the release of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, there was much online hate for the 3 films and the actors who helped bring them to life. There was a particular outcry over the depiction of Luke Skywalker in Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and many felt that director Rian Johnson ruined the character. Though the hate towards the sequels has lessened, it hasn't really gone away yet. However, Lucasfilm will be bringing back Daisy Ridley to play Rey in Star Wars: New Jedi Order.